All I saw was crackheads in the title, man. We got another Brandon Herrera video. We're kicking off the holiday marathon for these next 5 days. You're gonna get a video every day. You're getting 4 reactions, and you're gonna get the last video I'm making of the year before I go on like a little break. But like, this is the start of it. We got Brandon Herrera's new video, Crackhead Cursed Gun Images. Oh my lord. Okay, let's fucking get this shit. The anger.
Are we rolling?
Yes.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cursed Gun Images, one of your most favorite and one of my least favorite videos on the channel. One where I go through some of the internet's most cursed gun images. Some of these are just things I found on the internet. Some of them are submitted directly by you, the viewer.
Wait, we're doing
because you love
now?
to watch me suffer.
I'm sorry, yeah, we've been doing viewer submitted shit for a long
I'm
time.
your host, Brandon Barbera. Let's get into the Glockenspiel torture. Right out the gate, have you ever wanted to be in a bout of fisticuffs, but also want to shoot squirrels and or injure people? I introduce to you 22 caliber brass knuckles.
My lord, hang on, I'm gonna move my camera, just so that way you can see myself better. Holy shit, that thing looks shitly made, but it's amazing. It's got a little sharp end right there on the end by the, yeah, that'd be the pinky. How does this even fire, though? Is it like the fucking punch gun from Inglourious Bastards? What the fuck?
It's gonna be a long video. Funny enough, I think according to the NFA, this weapon is technically classified as an AOW or any other weapon. If you look, there's a bunch of weird shit, like as far as disguised firearms that end up on the AOW list. Like, you still have to get an NFA tax stamp, but instead of $200, it's like $5. Already autistically in the weeds. Anyhow, this does bring a whole new meaning to the term brass knuckles. Also, I just love the practical application of this. Implies that if you're going to hit somebody with it, you're going to also shoot the guy directly to your left. Funny enough, that's also how I won my boxing match.
Oh!
Mom.
I can just imagine the fucking, that one sound effect. Oh my god. I don't hear that.
Funny enough, that's also how I won my boxing match.
Bah!
Mom, I want Mosin Nagant. We have Mosin Nagant at home. Mosin Nagant at home. Yet, I don't know if this works or not, but this is kind of psychotic. I think the intent is to make this like kind of a takedown rifle. Either that or maybe it's just a meme. But turning a Mosin into something that you use like a pump-action BB gun you had when you were a kid. There's latches and shit there. This might be somewhat functional. Either way, terminally online. And for the Barbie girl in a Barbie world, we have whatever...
Oh, I never thought about that. Oh, it's so hideous. Why did I have to buy a pink monster? Man. Like, it looks so worse. And then you put the Labubu on it, and I'm like, I hope you do a lot of things with that thing that I can't say online.
Whatever this AR-15 is. Look, I think that just marketing things specifically to women by just throwing pink shit on it is already kind of cringe. Women and like, flamboyantly gay dudes. But that wasn't enough to include it in Cursed Gun Images if it wasn't for the fucking Labubu hanging off the handguard.
Like, what the fuck?
It's like a Funko Pop, but fucking worse somehow.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand this generation. 6'7", fuck you. Yeah.
The fuck you say? What the fuck?
Next. Oh boy, that didn't take long. What is it with firearms seized in other countries and like their obsession with plastidip bullshit? This looks like a CZ with leprosy. Oh god, this is from Jamaica. I just saw the top left.
Oh my god.
Hey man, why you got... No, I'm not.
Oh
no,
my
I'm not
god.
Honestly, this is probably the best
so
of the improvised
stupid.
guns we
I love
have
it.
in this lineup. You guys all remember the famous Smith & Methson, right? Never underestimate the ability of somebody who's high on meth to find the most complicated way of doing something you can buy for $150. There's this one I found recently, which is a what appears to be a .22 LR revolver with the signature grip tape, which I have to wonder if this was even ever remotely functional. I see there's that little spring there attached to the barrel, like, to the hammer that like you pull it back. It's got the bones. It might work. What I'm really concerned about is that barrel, which looks real fucking small, even for 22LR. Not only that, it looks notably inconsistent and possibly crooked. This whole thing makes a lot more sense when you realize the other details of why this was confiscated. It was a guy, also potentially high on meth, impersonating a law enforcement officer, specifically a US Marshal, in what has got to be the most convincing costume I've ever seen.
I forgot about this. I saw this, yeah.
I really have to admire his optimism for thinking he would get far enough along with that jacket to think that he needed to have a convincing working handgun. And then there's whatever the fuck this is, which, I mean, it looks like a fairly straightforward, just pull back, fire, 22 caliber. And I understand why a lot of these people just use 22LR. I mean, it's fairly simple. It's low pressure, very low chance of blowing up.
Rimfire. So essentially, it's a rimfire. So what that means is, do I have the bullet on my desk? I don't think I do anymore. But essentially, instead of having like a little metal like primer that you have to like shoot, actually I can use these BB rounds right here. These little BB 38s. So if you see right there, instead of having where like that hole is. They won't focus, but you see that hole right there. Instead of having to shoot there, you can just shoot literally anywhere, and then, it'll go off. But, those aren't real. They're fake, and they're cool. I had to fix my seat for a second.
Potentially fatal. I mean, it's not going to do a whole lot of damage, but... I mean, with the AM-180, it was considered less lethal.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Which really just means being a cop in the 1960s was fucking wild.
Damn. I forgot to put the AM-180 in Fallout. Also, speaking of cops and revolvers, this is also not a real gun. This is a BB gun. But apparently, in a lot of... apparently, law enforcement actually used to have a... We're going to look this up real quick. God, I need to stop fat-fingering my keyboard. This is unreal. Let me see if I can find it. There's like a certain type of law enforcement revolver. It's something like this. Where they get rid of the little hammer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hammerless? Is this the right way to go? Oh, fuck. I don't know. But it's like a... I'm just going to keep looking until I find it. Essentially, they are like something like this almost, but it's like they take off the... I saw this one. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, where they essentially get rid of this part of the hammer. So instead of being able to do that, you have to go through the whole process pulling the trigger, which means, higher... What's the word? Like a higher trigger weight. Meaning it's a lot harder to shoot, but that also has like the guaranteedness that if it goes off, it's meant to go off. I just thought I would make that a point. If he makes that point, then we're on the same wavelength.
Getting too far off topic, but if I do not see an AM-180 in the new season of Fallout, I'm going to show my ass. Well, but anyhow, out of all the crackhead guns I've seen, this is probably the one that, in my eyes, looks most likely to work just from an outsider's perspective. That was until I saw the ammunition it was seized with. So you see a couple of different loads in the same box of CCI. You've got, your typical lead projectiles for a 22, a bunch of crimped cases implying that they are blanks, possibly used in the testing to make sure that they could actually set off the rimfire primer. And then you zoom out and you see what I can only describe as 22 caliber thunder, which I love isn't even straight. Like, it's visibly fucking crooked. Does this look normal? On meth it is.
This is your brain on drugs.
2026. Fresh start, same system. Banks win, you pay. Fees and calls piling up monthly. Unless you fight back. PDS Debt has already helped hundreds of thousands cut their debt and put money back in their pocket. Not the banks. Whether you're struggling with credit cards, personal loans, or medical bills, PDS Debt has custom solutions to get you out of debt. And there's no minimum credit score required. They're here to help you save more, pay off your debt faster, and put that money back where it belongs. Your pocket. PDS Debt is A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau, and they have thousands of 5-star reviews. Why? Because as I said, PDS Debt has helped hundreds of thousands to get out of debt. It's about to be a new year, and it could be a new you, one that
as well,
isn't
with
in
the
debt.
Christmas season.
So don't wait.
Especially with the Christmas season too, people going into debt to buy things. So of course, definitely, do not end up in debt. I'm priding myself on the fact that I've had a credit card now for like almost 2 years, debt free, not a single bit of debt. I'm proud of that, and I pride myself on that. I'm just like.
Another month. Take back control in 30 seconds. Get your free personalized assessment at pdsdebt.com/bh. That's pdsdebt.com/bh. pdsdebt.com/bh. Also, a big thank you, as always, to the sponsor of the channel, sdi.edu. If you've ever thought about getting your start in gunsmithing and weapons technology, you can check them out using the links down in the description and in the pinned comment.
Go to this video and get those links.
Now, unfortunately, back to cursed gun images. Now this one comes straight from our brothers in the English language, the UK. Turns out a young man has converted a staple gun to be able to fire live cartridges. You may remember this oldie but goodie from cursed gun images long ago, where somebody had converted a staple gun to be able to fire 22 caliber long rifle.
Find the guy.
Judging by the ruler in the bottom right-hand corner of this photo, I'm assuming it was also a crime when they did it. But apparently a man by the name of Jamie Young in the UK was given a 5-year sentence for doing the same thing. This is also just telling me that staple guns are apparently alarmingly easy to convert if you have the willpower and, again, potentially methamphetamine. But that's crazy, converting something off the shelf to be a single-shot weapon and getting 5 years in prison. In the United States, as long as you're not a felon, making your own guns is perfectly legal. Yeah. That being said, this is also the UK, where if you say a naughty tweet, you also get thrown in prison. Pour one out for the homies stuck behind enemy lines in the UK. We love you, we see you, we are equally embarrassed on your behalf by your government. Seriously, the free speech stuff is getting fucking bad in the UK right now. What was that one recently where they had the woman who got sexually assaulted?
Oh my god, are you serious? Are you serious? Oh my god, I don't even want to entertain that. Good on her though. No, she did a good thing. That is just mean. Oh my god.
By somebody, and then she said a naughty thing about the person who had sexually assaulted her, and then she was the one who got arrested. Fucking insane. I've never been more proud of my ancestors.
Oh my god, $1,000. Put it all that he is the individual in question is an immigrant. I'm just gonna say it. If her abuser, or if the assaulter was an immigrant, that's probably why. It's fucking lame.
For throwing tea in that harbor. Anyhow, while we're shitting on European countries, let's go to the French. Don't tell Ian I said this, but I still, I haven't put hands on the FAMAS yet. I'm not sure what to feel about it until I do.
The FAMAS is a cultural thing. It was so wacky, it was so goofy, it was built out of spite because the French did not want to buy German weapons, so they built their own. Didn't work though, because inevitably, modern era come, they switched over to German weapons, but it's just a wacky piece of item, and that's why it's so cool. It's a fucking piece of shit, but it's it's got a place in culture.
But I do know a lot of the French rifle enjoyers seem to defend it quite a lot. So for all of you who stan the FAMAS, may I present to you Thomas the Tank Rifle. It's just a shitty FAMAS skin. Look, it's still my opinion the best thing to ever come out of France was Expedition 33. The FAMAS has to earn my love. I will say, however, this does remind me of the original fucking Mac 11 lunchbox, or whatever the fuck that was, the Thomas the Tank Engine, little clamshell thing with the Mac 11 in it. And if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you already know why I brought that up.
I got 7 Mac 11s, about 8, 38s, 9, 10 Mac 10s, the shit's never end.
maybe I'm getting old, but there's nothing I love more than like shitty early 2000s internet humor.
Yes.
Back before we had AI slop to generate this shit, right? Somebody had to have autism. Respect. This next one is like when you're driving home and you want McDonald's. No, we have McDonald's at home. Well, what if you're driving home and you want an MP7? Well, apparently Poland has an answer for that as well. MP7 at home. Yeah, apparently the Polish PM63 was being converted over into a relatively modern submachine gun, or PDW, however you want to put it, which looks like a big plastic housing on the front that just, yeah, it's kind of a conversion kit. I mean, fuck, actually half of these look 3D printed. I'm just now seeing the layer lines on the one in the bottom left. Which, look, I can't really talk shit. I mean, before I had MP7, I had MP7 at home. It's cool until you realize it's cope. Cope from it, seethe from it, MP7 arrives all the same. At the end of the day, cope is in the eye of the beholder. Now, a lot of you are probably familiar with ghost guns. You know, 80% lowers, whether it be like a Glock or an AR-15 that are made of various different materials. A lot of them are polymer. Some, especially the AR-15s, are aluminum. One that you don't often see is wood. Wood with a bunch of screws and an erector set worth of fucking steel brackets. I don't know what kind of upper that is, but I guarantee it's a PSA. Honestly, just for the meme, I kind of respect it. Especially when you realize that the buffer tube and the stock are just fucking PVC pipe. What? There's no end to that buffer tube. It just keeps going, actually straight up through the plumbing, through the pipes, into the underwater level of Super Mario. On a scale of 1 to dangerous, fuck it, I'd try it. Now this next one looks like a fairly innocuous, just modern carbine. Except to a tiny margin of you out there that are nerds and have played Escape from Tarkov. In which case, if you take a closer look at the receiver, you'll notice it's actually a Keter. You know that super shitty starter, scav, submachine gun you get in that game? Say what you will, when you're barely scraping by, that Keter makes the cheddar. Apparently some company in Russia, I guess, was turning these into full-on, full-length carbines. Barrel length and everything, a necessity in Russia to be able to sell it to the civilian market without being labeled as a pistol. So in general, that's already kind of cursed. But if you just zoom in on that muzzle brake, I can't let this go. The Ketter's chambered in 9x18 Makarov, typically. That is an obnoxiously large muzzle brake. On top of that, I will never understand the Russian fascination. Pull up the inside of like a VSS suppressor,
bro,
okay? I'll never understand the Russian obsession with just putting bent washers in shit. I do want a Keter. Is it good? I don't know, probably not. But I just want one. One of these days. Now to something I don't want. When we think about combat rifles, we tend to leave out the combat rifles of our forefathers. It's not all just AR-15 derivatives. There were things that people marched into combat long ago with, like, for example, the Lee Enfield. Saw a bunch of service in World War I and II and was beloved by infantry troops across the globe. And it made it 100 years in the future just for some Redditor to do this. I will never understand the fascination with just putting AK underfolders on everything. Okay, I do kind of understand. AK underfolding stocks are like cheap as fuck. So like if you're just like looking at like trash blasters and like crazy shit, crazy projects to do, I kind of get it. Also, the irony was not lost on me that the only Lee Enfield I have in this room is that one. In my defense, there's historical precedent for that,
Oh, yeah,
but we'll get into that later. No, we won't. I got into it before. I made a whole video about it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, straight up, that's an AK underfolding stock that's affixed to that. You know, AK underfolding stocks, notorious for their great cheek welds. Look, I want to hate it. I really do. The more I look at it, it kind of goes hard. I don't know, you tell me what you think. Cursed or...
If it was like a shitty rifle that was already like in a bad condition, I would be fine with it. But if it was like basically like mint, then yeah, you're going to hell.
You know, maybe blurst. You know, not quite blessed, not quite cursed. It just... Something about this is hitting a funny bone with me. I'm not sure. Do you feel the same? But alas, is it really a Cursed Gun Images episode if you don't have a high point? I still need to make a handguard for it, but here she is. A high point JHP 45. The frame comes off with 2 bolts in under a minute. AK underfolder. Again, with the AK underfolders. Just a fucking washer over it with a screw. High point owners, you know. I love he's got like the spray painted fake light on the slide on one side. I'm very curious. The longer I look at this, the more confusing it is. Look at that spring on the barrel. And the fact that this is 45 ACP, but you have like a fucking Walmart hunting scope on top. Looks like the stock at least does collapse, which is, you know, at least that's relatively functional, but man, that stock angle is absurdly low. Absolutely no cheek weld in sight if you're using that scope. But you know what, fuck it, it's a high point. These are like the classiest of the meth heads building guns. The aristocracy of the Smith & Methson class, if you will. But at least most of the high point enthusiasts don't have access to a welder, because then things could get really nasty. Drumroll, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have a name for it.
Oh,
Best I got is the low point.
The low point? We've hit a low point. Oh my lord, what is that thing? Why is that? What have you done? You're a monster! Bro, what the fuck? This isn't COD Vanguard? Bro, man, this shit sucks.
Seems to be predominantly a PPS 43 with a Thompson foregrip and a high point upper on top. Clutched together with what I can only assume is a MIG welder and some JB weld. The PPS with the wood stock does go kind of fucking hard, but not now. You got the mag weld right below. Oh god, I don't know. There's so many. The question in my mind is always like, does this actually function? And in this case, the answer is, I hope not. I mean, the mag weld's in the right place, but I guess just to harken back to an old Cursed Gun Images joke, where to bolt go, though? I don't see anywhere for it to actually cycle, but either way, this is actually the gun that inspired me to make another one of these videos because it just hurts my fucking retinas. And if I had to see it, then so do you.
Sydney Sweeney got a mastectomy from Sid from Toy Story.
Ugh. Anyhow, I'm about to bleach my fucking eyeballs and recalcify my pineal gland. I appreciate you guys for staying all the way to the end, and as always, I will see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Thank you, and if I don't see you until then, Merry Christmas.
Hell yeah.
Anyhow, I'm about to fucking bleach my... Chlamydia, your father's here.
Who? Man, alright, that was Crackhead Cursed Gun Images. What the fuck? Go check it out. It's some heat. I'll see y'all in the next one, but bye-bye.